welcome to Lessons Learnt. I'm Sherry and this is Finish It Friday. Here we share our finishes with each other, both mine and yours. And today I'm sitting outside because the weather is just glorious. We're having true springtime weather right now. The rain has passed. Occasionally we'll get a little bit of rain, but there for a while it rained and rained and rained, and now we're getting very nice days in the 70s and up to 80-ish. And there's going to be quite a stretch of that, and I'm thankful for that. And the sunshine is always nice no matter what the temperature is. So I have a few things to share with you that I worked on this week that I would like to share with you. If you watched Wednesday's video, you saw me in my home using my long arm on a very small project, just to kind of give you a look inside at what it might be like to have a long arm. I'm not very good at it yet. I can get by is what I say for the moment, but I am definitely feeling more and more comfortable with the long arm, and I'm learning more and more, and I'm sure my skills will improve as time goes on. So this is what I made. If you didn't see that video, go back and watch it. I did not make it into a pillow like I told you I probably would, but I kept thinking about this blue fabric that I had gotten that was part of the line, and I thought I just really need to use that on this somewhere. Let me get it to where I can show it to you a little bit better. The sunshine kind of beat me today. I was trying to get this video filmed before the sun started shining on the porch out here, but that is my wall hanging. And that way I can see my quilting on the back if I want to, and not covered up inside of a pillow. I could still make it into a pillow later if I wanted to, but this is what I decided to do, and I think it was the right decision to put that blue on there. And you can see those colors there in that center square, so it all coordinates. So I got that finished. I'm counting that as a 100% done finish. And then I also have over here something I'm really excited to show you that I've had done for a couple of weeks really, and I was just waiting to show it to you until everyone got their sampler boxes in the mail, because we're not supposed to share that information before a certain date in the month, and this month it was the 30th. I think that's what it said at, the 30th of every month. You're not to share the contents of the box. At least that's what the rules are in the Sampler group. So who am I? But I understand that whole thing about spoilers, and I don't want to be someone that has a spoiler video. The Pieceful basket sew along. I'm going to show you my first block that I did for last month, just as a refresher. This is the first one I did. And then this one, I went a little bolder, and I did it this way. The pattern's a little bit different. What's in the basket is what's different. So I like how this turned out. I was a little apprehensive about my colors, about my big prints, but I think it's glorious. I love it. I love it better than this one. And I like this one. So I think this is going to be a very fun sew along with the fabric line that I've chosen. And I don't remember the name of it again. It's Sandy Gervais. Last week I thought, well, when I showed you my first block, I think I managed to come up with the name at the end, but I know it's not going to come to me today. I just know it's not, so I'm not even going to try to remember the name. And then I have another interesting finish, and I say interesting because there's a little bit of a story to it, and that is what's behind me right here. I'll show you a full-on picture of it right here for a second. So this is about a 64 or 65 by 65 square, and this came to be in my possession through a friend of mine who we all know, and that is Ernest, Sewell. And he often sends in his finishes on Finish Friday. So he has this quilt top all made up and did not like it. He actually disliked it so much he used the H word, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to say it, but I think you know what I mean. He sent it to me to do whatever I wanted with it. Whatever I wanted. I decided, well, what do you do with a quilt top? You finish it. You finish it. If it's still not good, it's just still not good. You donate it or something, right? So this is what I long-armed on it. It's called Feathered Flowers, and it's done in a light grayish purple. And I thought with all the angles and straight lines, something curvy would be nice. And then also something with a little bit of color, just to kind of soften things up a bit. And then I found this for the binding, which was this perfect purple right here. At first I thought, I'm not going to be able to find anything. I knew that I did not have any kind of yardage that was olive. I looked, and then my next best bet was this, or maybe this. I put this little print on the back, and it is cactuses, whereas this is more of English garden looking fabric, but it's all I had. And it does match fine with the purples on the front. If, you know, your backing matters to you. Some people don't care what their backing is. They'll put just a plain white on there, no big deal. I kind of like to add a little something to the back. So I thought, well, I could use the rest of my scraps of this on the front. But even though it was going to be a little bit showing, I didn't want those cactuses clashing with the English garden. So I found this solid, and it was perfect. And I probably never would have used this on anything. I know not anything immediate. So this was made for this quilt. It really was. And I think it framed it out really nice. So it's just proof that you can take something a little less than desirable and make it into something better. And I think I achieved that. And now I want to show you something that Ernest loves, and it's his finish of this week, and you're gonna love it too. This is the scrappy Irish chain that he just got back from the Longarmer and has it bound and all finished. And I want to read to you what he says about this, but first he wanted to mention that this is a free pattern by Jessie Fincham called Scrappy Irish Chain. So this was a pattern that was actually made to be a scrappy version. So he says here, this quilt was done with a lot of help. All the squares are unique in that there is only one square of any fabric. No duplicate cuts were used. So that means every little colored square you see is unique. And of course, there's an accent fabric there that is used throughout in the binding. That is all the same. So what Ernest did is he asked for donations of 2.5-inch squares because he was going to need 989 individual squares. So it was a community effort. And he says, so thank you to everyone watching who sent scraps to me, including moi. I'd never have gotten it done otherwise. The quilting design that's on the white areas, you can really see it. But the quilting design that was done by his Longarmer was called Dancing Flowers. And this quilt finishes at 90 by 90. And he would call it an intermediate quilt. And it's going to be for sale on his Etsy page. And I always have the link in the description box of my videos of Redbud Quilt Company. That is Ernest's Etsy page. And he has many other quilts out there as well for sale. If you're wanting to check out what he has there, go to that link in my description and check out his Etsy. The first one here after Ernest is Shirley. Check this out. She says, boy, was this a challenge. I took the class to challenge myself, and boy, howdy. Fabric management was stressed by the teacher, and we learned very quickly why. The class was called Why, the letter Y, Why Not? Why not? So Shirley is in Alaska, and you did a wonderful job on this. I think it's mission accomplished as far as challenging yourself. And I love the black around the outer edges and within the pattern as well. That gives it that 3D looking look. Great job. I need to challenge myself and do one of those. And then we have, let's see, Dee Dee. Oh, this is funny. Not funny, it's cute. But she says this is a quilt top from a 3-yard quilt book by Fabric Cafe. The pattern is called Park Place, and it's 43 by 61. Not quite big enough per pattern, so I'm considering another border of the light paisley fabric and binding with the dark fabric, which I've recently noticed looks like the tire tread. That would be a good idea. For now, it is complete until I decide. I could have made the center larger, but I was only able to get 1 yard of the gray Farmall fabric, no longer available. See the Farmall tractors in there? She said, I've made this for our friend who has a Farmall tractor. The rear wheels are taller than me. And there's a picture of her sitting in the seat of the tractor there. So cute. That's so neat. I love this story. She says the tractor is old and gorgeous. Very nice. And thanks for sharing a picture of you on the tractor. Debbie. Debbie has 3 different quilts here that she's going to share that she has finished. The first one is a So Kind of Wonderful pattern called Lattice Revival. And she said her wonderful Longarmer did an amazing job. The blue On Point quilt was a combination of 2 kits that she changed the layout to make more interesting. And then the last one is chicken fabric that was in the stash. The pattern is from 3-yard quilts that I made bigger. This one is a gift for my egg supplier. These are wonderful quilts. Great job, and good for you on coordinating those fabrics according to the themes there. Very nice. Danae, she says she finally finished 2 of the quilt tops that she had stacked up in her sewing room, and she counts that she has 15. Well, don't worry about it, Danae. Some of us have more than that. The Scrappy Strip quilt is loosely based on a courthouse steps block and was rather fun to sew. The back was a piece of fabric that was the correct length but not wide enough, so I took more of the strips and added them in to get the width. The 4-patch is from a couple of charm packs that I did not know what to do with, and to add a bit of cheekiness, I added a lime green backing. Both quilts measure approximately 55 by 60. Yes, I love the 4 patches and the stripes. And your backing there that is pieced is really cool. Goes really well with that stripy courthouse steps sort of quilt there. And I love the lime green on the back of the other one. We have one more. This is from Tamala. She says, I received from my cousin signature quilt blocks that were made by my grandmother, great aunts, and cousins in the late 40s and early 50s. I had to secure all of the hand stitching and add pieces here and there to make them the same size. I was so honored to be asked to make them into a quilt and was told I could keep it to pass down to my children. Yes, I took a close look at this, and you can see there the signatures between the 2 halves of the stars. And look at that old time fabric there, 40s era fabric. So cool. I love it. So you kind of did a, not really a restoration, but kind of an updating a little bit, and also, you know, just by doing the quilting, you've secured that quilt top together in a sense. So I was looking at all the names on there. It's so cool. I love it. And I don't know if you all remember, but a couple of years ago, maybe, it might be a couple of years by now, my sister who lives in Nevada, she sent me a quilt kind of like this. It wasn't stars, but there were signatures embroidered on it. And it needs to be finished, and I still need to finish that. So that's got me thinking about that again. Okay, this is all we have for this week, and what a great show it was. Everyone did wonderful work on their quilts, and I enjoyed it immensely. And I look forward to next Friday, where we'll have another one of these shows and a whole nother batch of quilts to show. And I'm going to keep plugging along in the sewing room, in the she shed here over the weekend, and keep going on the berry wreath and the bow ties. And I have one more big surprise for you. The Batik, Blues Batik quilt is all put together now. At least the top. The top is all put together. And I'll put those pictures right here. So you can see what a gigantic quilt top that is. It measures 96 by 120. And yes, I will be getting that long armed by someone else because it will not fit on my long arm. It will not fit widthwise. Length wouldn't matter, but widthwise does. And there's no way I can fit that on there that it will successfully be long armed on my frame. So it looks like we might have to get a little help with that. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed today's little quilt show, quilt parade, and we'll see you back here on Monday Quilt Chat for more information about what I'm doing in my sewing room and what's going on in the quilt world in general. If I have anything newsy to share, you'll just have to show up and we'll sit down and have a chat. All right, have a great weekend and get in your sewing room and sew a little bit every day. All right, have a great one. Bye. Ernest, this is not that bad. It looks good. You did a great job. I did a great job too. I think what I would have done would have been to add that middle row there, the second to the bottom. I would put one more of those on the bottom. Maybe you didn't have enough fabric. I don't know. It's a cute quilt. Men.